Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Double Stuff Podcast, where we're double the hosts, double the topics, and double the fun. And I'm Charity.
I'm Alan.
I'm Dan.
And I'm Sarah.
You're who, Alan?
I'm Alan.
You're like, Alan?
I'm Alan.
Or he said it with a question mark, like he wasn't sure.
Well, we are here to do another exciting episode with our usual routine of double the topics, and Alan is going to draw from the hat and let us know what we're talking about. Yay.
Okay, number one is earliest memories.
Ooh, okay.
You get to learn
Number
how we were as babies.
two is your favorite color.
Oh, cute.
Yeah.
Okay, well, Alan.
My favorite color is happy.
That's not the color.
Alan sees spectrums. We can't.
Oh man.
Jeez.
Well, let's start with earliest memories. That's
Okay.
the one.
Yeah.
That's the one he drew out of the hat.
So what was baby Alan like?
First thing that comes to mind, I don't know why, but I do remember the earliest prayer that I ever had. And I was walking to school. You can't do this anymore. I think I was walking home from kindergarten. So I would walk to and from kindergarten just by myself.
How far? What was the distance, do you think?
At the time, it seemed like forever. It was like a real adventure, but I'm sure it was just a few blocks or something. That's an interesting question.
Mm-hmm.
Next time I go to Topeka, I should just do the walk myself because the school's still there, Lowman Hill Elementary School.
Mm-hmm.
But anyway, I remember walking on the side of a hill, and I was amazed that my ankles could pivot to where while I was walking on an incline, but horizontally across the incline, I was like, oh, thank you, Jesus, for making my ankles go to the side.
Oh, sweet.
So anyway, that's the first thing that popped into my mind.
That is the cutest
But I don't think it's
story.
the earliest memory that I've had. Of course, I have memories that go beyond that, but that was the first thing that popped in my head. So
I like how you say the Cherry did bring up a good point. Like as a child, you don't have concept of like distance and time.
Yeah.
So like you walk into school felt like it was probably, crossing rivers and streams and valleys when it was just up the street and around the corner.
It could have been. I don't know.
Well, because me and Trader were talking about that. We look. There were some old movies we used to watch as kids, and we watched it recently. We're like,
It was only like an hour long.
yeah, and we used to think this is like
Days.
it's like watching Ben-Hur. It's like a 4-hour film.
Right.
So it's like our concept of time is so
It's a bit skewed when you're a kid.
a bit.
yeah.
Yeah. So it's just kind of funny to get it from a kid's perspective. What about you? What was Baby Dan like?
Okay, so if I'm going to start this off with, I have a famously terrible memory. So whenever I get together with like family and stuff,
I started shaving. That was my earliest memory.
It's kind of like that.
That was a 3.
We'll talk with family members and they'll be like, do you remember when we did it? And I'm just like, absolutely not.
I do that
No
too.
way.
It's scary
I
sometimes.
have no recollection
I have
of
people
this.
that were, and I think we've talked about this before, they're like, you remember blah, blah, blah. And it would be like something that most people would be like, I will never forget this. Totally gone.
Completely the same way.
Totally gone.
Like we've taken trips as a family that I know we've taken because I've seen pictures that I just absolutely can't recall a single moment from. And not because they weren't memorable. I mean, they obviously were memorable for some people, but I can remember facts and trivia and like all this stuff. No problem. Like my wife earlier, she asked me, she was like, what was that movie? It was on Amazon Prime and it had the guy and he was like, it seemed like he had a family, but then maybe it wasn't real. And I was like, oh, Bliss with Owen Wilson and Salma Hayek. I haven't even seen the movie. I just knew what the trailer was.
Right, right.
But it was like,
So you have a selective memory.
yeah, it was like, do you remember when we went to the Biltmore Estate? And I was like, nope.
Nope.
I don't.
Do you remember when we fell in love and got married? What?
What? Who are you?
Who's this woman in my house?
Out of my house.
How did I get here? So my earliest memory that I could think of off the spot here that came to mind was when I was 4 or 5 years old. We lived in a hotel because my parents owned, they managed the hotel, and it had a swimming pool.
Fun.
And yeah, it was so fun because we had like 2 hotel rooms kind of like put together. That was like where we lived in one of the places.
Did you guys have to clean up your room too? Or
oh yeah.
Oh.
It wasn't
Doing
that,
like-
it was a Days Inn, so it wasn't like
It wasn't the sweet life of Zach and
super
Cody.
fancy. But it was great because it was a Days Inn and a Denny's combined. So like there was a Denny's restaurant in the front part of it. So we have like breakfast at Denny's, and my dad managed both things and all that stuff. But there was a pool there, and the pool had like a big running wall. And when I was little, it felt like it was, it felt like it was standing on top of a cliff.
20
and, like,
feet tall.
Yeah, like jumping off. So it was like so scary. It was probably the size of this table, like 2 feet off the, above the water or whatever. But I remember being scared jumping off of that and like trying to jump into the water. That's like the earliest one. Now, all that being said, all that could be made up, because part of having a very active imagination is I will think I remember things and I'll talk to people and they'll be like, that didn't happen.
Yeah.
Be like, are you sure? Because I have a really strong memory of that.
There was a puddle in the back. We didn't have I don't know about a pool.
Little like flippy or like, waiters or whatever, just like jumping into a puddle.
Yeah. Exactly.
No, he wakes up like in the Wizard of Oz, like, yeah, but you and you were there. And it's like, apparently that tornado's twisting up too far. I'm actually kind of curious because me and Charity, just because we're related and we've lived together for a while, honestly, I have a pretty vivid memory before Charity.
She has an excellent, because
like the good times.
Sarah remembers stuff.
I remember it was really dark and then it was really light.
It was really light, and the doctor smacked me in the face.
In the face? All of a sudden, he's supposed to smack you on the butt. That's child abuse. That's baby abuse.
He couldn't tell, apparently.
No, but Sarah will remember something, and my mom will be like, how do you remember that? You were 3 years old, but she'll remember something vividly.
Oh, yeah. I have a vivid not imagination, but...
well, you got that too.
Well, I got that too. Occupational hazard. But yeah, most of it's funny because my memory is actually pretty clear up until Charity was born. So apparently,
wow, apparently that traumatized you so much,
disrupted the frequencies.
So now I'm like, oh, okay, that's who she is.
I didn't want a baby sister.
Good time's gone.
Yeah, I was like, oh, we had a good thing going. No, but one of the big things I remember is actually because we grew up in mobile homes before we finally had like an actual house. Mm-hmm. And so I remember basically from when I was born to, because Charity was born in October, my birthday's in August, so I had just turned 3. So basically my memory is from about 2 years old. The mobile home we were in, it was, mid 80s, everything, all the wood paneling. We had those old couches that you see with the weird flowery background. We had a TV that got struck by lightning. Fun stuff from childhood. Mm-hmm. But I think one of the earliest memories, I remember my mom teaching me the alphabet, and she had them on circular yellow flashcards, and they had, we didn't have a hole punch, so I think she actually made the holes out of scissors and used the little twisty ties you use for trash cans. Mm-hmm. And so... okay. Charlie was looking to be funny.
Oh, sorry. I didn't know. She
was like, nobody taught me the alphabet.
Nobody taught me the alphabet.
And so learn that on the streets.
all 26
Sesame Streets.
It was rough.
It was rough. But now, according to my mom, this part I don't remember. She said I learned the alphabet in 2 days, but she taught me at 2 years old. But I do remember how everything looked, and then I think the very first movie I ever watched, or what I remember, was at 3 years old. I watched the 10 Commandments because I'm an interesting kid, and. Not only would I watch it, because if you guys ever watched the 10 Commandments, like 3.5 hours.
Yeah.
So I would watch the whole movie, take the tape out, rewind it, watch it again, take the tape out, rewind it, watch it again. And I would do that over and over, enough to drive my mom crazy, but it's the fact that you have this...
But you can't get mad at your kid for watching a Bible story. It's like,
3.5
learning
hours.
About God's word.
Were you just a big fan of what Charlton Heston?
I was going to say, maybe I was secretly...
Yul Brynner.
And Yul Brynner.
Moses.
I mean, I can still quote after all these years, but yeah, and then when Charity was born, Charity, we had to put her in a suitcase.
Here we go with the suitcase story again.
So when Charity was born, part of her liver wasn't fully developed. So they had to put her basically in an oven so she could cook until she was done.
You mean an incubator?
See, that's the proper. Sarah's trying to eat me.
Because when we came home from the hospital, it looked like a white suitcase. And so I'm looking, I'm like, I got this baby in a suitcase.
You're describing it. She's
telling the story
as when I was 3 years old. Yeah.
Okay, I understand.
And so I joke about that now because I'm like, we could have just gotten a spatula, flipped her over, and be like, well, she's done on this side. But that was my introduction to Charity, as a baby in a suitcase. So take it away.
Don't touch her.
She's not done
yet. Stay back. Watch your movie.
Go watch Charlton Heston.
Yeah. Charlton Heston. She'll be done in 3 hours. So go ahead, Charity. We'll talk about baby Charity.
Okay, so my memories of I guess my earliest memories are a bit hazy, but I do remember them. So my mom says that when I was a baby, I would kind of like after I wake up, I just hang out in the bed for a while and like just hang out in my bed, which obviously nothing's changed, but
she still does.
But like baby beds, like they have the little mobile on top with like little toys and stuff. And so I would play with those toys and I would just stay and entertain myself until my mom would come in and be like, is Charity still asleep? And then once I see her, I'd be like, hey, let's get up and start the day. But I remember playing with those little toys that would hang over my head. I can still see what they look like because they had the little handles and the little ball popper things and stuff. The other memory that I think this was from the mobile home we lived in before we moved into the one that me and Sarah grew up in together. There was like the baby bed thing had this handle on the side, and for whatever reason on the handle it was probably said like made in China or something, but like there were words engraved and I could feel it, and I remember it tickling my hand. And so I think if they still work, there's some VHS tapes that my uncle, he used to record us all the time when we were little. There's tapes of me laughing just for no reason, this really weird laugh, and it's kind of okay, I'm gonna do it. Okay, so like this video is me going like ha 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 ha. I remember that. Yeah, there's a video of me doing that, and I remember looking down at it because I could feel the words, and I think it tickled or something. But for whatever reason, I did that laugh, and that laugh is recorded on a VHS tape somewhere, and that's my earliest memory.
Wow.
And it's really stupid now that I'm saying it out loud.
That's wild.
Well, the fact that you still remember your baby laugh is pretty funny.
That's wild. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so now that we've discussed earliest memories,
Yeah.
This might be associated with it. Do you guys have a favorite color, and then why? Is there a certain color you guys like?
Yeah, I mean, I have a favorite color. It's green. It's always been green.
Always?
Always.
Like a certain shade of green?
No, just
The
green
color of
in
money.
general. Yeah. I was always a Green Bay Packers fan because they were green.
Ah.
I don't know if it's a reason why, but I have a thing where names in particular, not all words, but in particular like names, when I hear a name or like see a name or think of a name, like I see it in a color or like associate it with a specific color. So that was always what I did with my own name.
Do our
Interesting.
names? What color associated with Alan? And
White, red, blue.
Oh,
why?
okay.
Why is that?
I have
Do
no
you
idea.
not
I have
just-
zero clue. It's just if I think of a name in particular.
Oh, and since for the people who didn't see you point, who's white, who's red, and who's
Sarah
blue?
White.
Charity's
Okay.
white. I
Sarah Blue.
always thought there was
Yeah.
something weird about that.
Yeah, that's interesting.
So
Yeah.
Alan's red, I'm white. Oh, so you're very patriotic, I guess.
I have no idea why. Like I said, green for my own name. My wife's name is blue. I just it's something.
Does
that
it run the rainbow
It
like
does,
for
absolutely.
people?
like a Roy G. Biv.
all over,
sort of.
all over
Okay.
the place. So.
All
Well,
right.
that'd be interesting to research.
I have
Like how
zero
does
idea
that
why.
work?
And I don't think about it. That's the thing. Like this is like the first time I've thought about it in years.
Interesting.
So we talk about favorite colors. Like, why is my favorite color? It's like, oh yeah, I do that thing in my head
Mhm.
without even thinking about it.
Oh, that's so cool.
Huh.
Well, I was starting to look up like color psychology and like what certain colors mean. So
We need to test Dan immediately. What sort of psychic abilities does he
I do
have?
definitely probably talk to a psychiatrist. That's true.
well, on a generic sense, at least according to one of the websites I was looking at, green, yes, it is associated with money and nature. It can signify growth, health, wealth, fertility, generosity, or jealousy and envy. So if you're green with envy, so
I
it
feel like all those
depends.
things work.
Yeah, I was like, I am everything. It also means that you're practical, down to earth. You love to give advice, help others, enjoy the outdoors. You're very productive. One out of that.
Say, where's the negative traits on it?
Yeah.
I guess the negative is dealing with the jealousy
I'll
and
say the
envy.
jealousy and envy is probably the negative.
These descriptions, it's like the Zodiac stuff. It's like
It is
Yeah.
very
it's like, you start reading, you're like, that's me totally. I'm like, it's everybody.
It's everybody.
You can find those traits in anybody. Yeah.
The funniest thing is like if somebody's like, "Oh, what's your astrological sign or whatever?" I'll tell you about you, and it's like, or like give them the wrong birthday, and then they're like,
They're like, oh,
give you
that's
all this
totally
stuff
you.
about you. And it's like, oh no, it's November is my birthday,
Oh.
not May. Sorry.
Sorry, I forgot when I was born.
I mean, just mess up with people's emotions. And so, what about you, Alan? What is your favorite?
color, man? What is it?
Blue, which you did not guess. You said I was red, but blue's always been mine.
I thought like a
Fail.
carnival guesser.
Anyway, there goes your color theory.
So, what
no.
any shade of any type of blue?
Oh, all
types?
shades, all tints.
Okay.
Yeah. Well, I guess a tint is white with blue, so
A hue.
Yeah.
A
yeah,
hue of
the
blue?
hue of blue is the amount of saturated how much blue is in it, I think, is the hue.
Yeah, and I think
a shade is
how much
black.
How much black or white is added? I think.
Well, tint would be the white.
Yeah, I used to know all that stuff. That's why I'm in this field.
But I like blue, and I don't know why. I think it's pretty versatile.
I think blue's supposed to be calming.
I find I put it in a lot of whenever I'm doing like motion graphics or something, and I just need a color. Mm-hmm. I pick up blue, which helps out a lot. That one of our biggest color palette choices that we have for PBS Kansas is blue.
It's blue. Mm-hmm.
So
that does work out.
It works out very well. Yeah, I don't know.
What about outfits? You have a lot of blue in your closet?
He's wearing blue now.
That's true.
Oh yeah,
well PBS, so but yeah, I think so. But I have lately tried really hard to, I don't know about just sort of my personality or something, but with the polos that I buy, I try to get heavily saturated colors. So really deep greens or really deep blues, really deep reds and things like that.
Well, if you cared, what blue is stability, harmonious, peaceful, and trustworthy.
Aww.
Thank you.
Well, that's all the time we got for now, everybody.
Good words.
Now read it for green, and I'd be like, "Yep, that's me too."
That's me too. The personality traits: dependable, trustworthy, compassionate, peaceful, loyal. In regards to productivity, you like to strategize, handle a task. You can adapt if certain obstacles arise.
That's very
Honestly,
true.
you actually are really good at that.
Yeah,
that's what I'm saying. But everybody is. You could say it's a. Okay,
I know.
Anyway,
well, some people do it with more grace than others. Like everyone has to adapt and be flexible, but some people like do it well, and other people just like, you know.
That's true.
I'm probably the more complaining, like, oh, I gotta be flexible.
Speaking of, Charity, what's your favorite color?
Okay,
mine's plaid.
On the standard Roy G. Biv scale of colors, my favorite color is green, but I have other colors that I prefer, but it's probably not in your little list that you're looking at. So
what's your second favorite?
Well, at the time
color
of this recording, you have green braids.
Sure.
So.
Yes,
from her mermaid.
I do like green. My old bedroom used to be like green screen.
Green.
Yeah,
wow.
so like you could have filmed something in my room if
So
you
it was
wanted
an
to.
obnoxious green?
Yeah, like my dad would walk by my room and just kind of just shake his head. And then it was funny because Christy, my sister's room, was next door, and she had this bright orange color. So it looked like a Brady Bunch, like green and orange right next to each other.
The only thing was missing was the shag carpet.
Yeah, and he would just look at my room and then Christy's room. And then,
it is.
Yeah. Then he'd just kind of walk into his room like, what are my daughters
Your dad's
doing?
a very patient man.
He's got 3 girls.
I would be, guys, this is still my house. We have to talk about this.
Of all the things that we could fight about, let's just leave the paint color. Like, have fun in your green room. If it keeps you from not fighting with each other and from being calm, just have your green room.
Sure.
Enjoy it in good health.
So your second favorite color, since we already discussed green, I guess.
Let's go black, because my actual favorite color is close to black, but it's probably
once you go black.
Yeah.
According to this, black can mean so many different things.
Of course.
Boldness, uniqueness, mystery, intrigue, power. But it could also mean darkness, sadness, pain, or grief.
There you go.
But it means that you're bold, risk taker, a little impulsive at times, but you can also be serious, maybe sometimes too serious. You're strong and command a sense of respect from your peers. Can be a little intimidating. Wow, that's pretty spot on.
Yeah, that's true. I've been getting told that since like 2nd grade.
Charity and Chrissy both have a menacing look, even when they're just being
It's just my resting face. I don't mean to. People just think I'm like intense and angry. I'm just like looking at the sky, like, oh, look at the
Smile,
sky.
Charity.
Blue.
I am smiling.
I am.
I know one of my old bosses, she looked at me, she's like, who pissed you off? I'm like, I'm actually fine today.
Yeah.
Today.
But I'm angry now. Thank you for bringing that up. Okay, so last but not least, Sarah, tell us your favorite color.
Well, my favorite color I call a subconscious favorite because I don't know if I really knew it was my favorite color until someone pointed it out to me, and it's actually purple.
She's sporting purple braids right now.
Oh, that's right.
It's pink, but there's purple within it.
Fuchsia, I guess.
There's blue and red.
Yeah.
there's a lot of blue in Alan's hair. So the reason why I call it
a lot of white too now. Getting older.
Well, white shows distinguish and other things I haven't found online yet. So
I'm interrupting, but go ahead.
So purple. I think I've always liked colors like blues and greens. I do like the cooler colors, but I think I call purple my subconscious favorites because one time I kind of remember this, probably been about 10 years ago. I went to church one day and I didn't realize it, but I wore all purple. I had some kind of purple outfit I was wearing. The phone I had at the time, like I have now, had a purple cover. And I think I had like purple earrings and stuff. And somebody was like, "You like purple, huh?" And I'm like, "What are you talking about?" And I look down. I'm like, "Oh my gosh, there's a lot of purple on me."
I do like
purple. I had that purple epiphany, I guess.
Your glasses
you had
are
a
purple
little
too.
Capri Sun grape juice.
What are you talking about? I don't like purple. But yeah, and kind of like what you say, Alan, like whenever you're designing something, you just randomly default it to blue until you choose something else. I do that with purple.
Okay.
I ended up using purples and oranges. Those are kind of like my default colors before I end up doing something else.
It's an interesting combination, purple and orange.
Purple and orange is a beautiful combination together.
Purple and gold is good too.
Well,
royalty.
A couple of years ago on Instagram, purples and oranges were really big in terms of like the photo filters. That was because you have that good contrast of cool and warm.
Right.
So purple and orange are actually a really nice combination together.
Well, they're complementary.
They are complementary. I do believe that's color theory. So purple for me can be connected with royalty and power, of course. Because that's what I am.
Of course.
Sarah means princess, so I already fall into that. Privilege, wisdom, spirituality. It could also be a frustrating color because people might think you might be perceived as arrogant. Which because of like since I'm starting to get more in the public eye now, there are some people that think that I'm arrogant, and I think they're getting that mixed up with confidence, but that's just their problem. But also personality traits of purple is quick-witted. They have a fun identity, unique things. They want to stand out from the pack, dance to the music, and I do things that strike me random. So that oddly kind of fits.
To be fair, all of the colors that you listed do kind of fit our personality traits for the most part. So yeah. But as Alan said, they fit everybody's personality traits.
I'm such a Debbie Downer with it, though. Yeah.
So the whole point of this is to say that you're not special, and Alan thinks that we're all just cookie cutters.
That's the takeaway. That's a takeaway from all.
Nobody's special.
Right now, kids.
Well, with that bombshell.
Yeah, Sarah, go ahead and close this out. Let the listeners know where they can find our episodes where we talk about all of the other fun things on the show.
Yeah, so thank you for that segue, Charity. So if you have any more colorful things you want to learn about us or send us some stuff our way that we can, learn more about you in a colorful way. That's kind of a weird way of saying that. But you can always binge listen to all of our episodes. All of our newest ones are available on all the podcast platforms, and you can just binge listen on doublestuffpod.com. We're available on Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube at Double Stuff Podcast, and of course, as usual, Twitter at Double Stuff P, and that's the letter P.
Butterfly in the sky.
I can go twice as high. Take a look, it's in a book. Reading rainbow.